And that is the Ohio State Marching Band covering the Neutron Dance. Woo! The Big E back in the barn. It's Saturday night. Going to give you the NFL picks here for this weekend, Sunday. Final Sunday in the NFL. Well, I just had to, we've had, and when I say we, I mean I, because, not everybody's happy about the results of the game last night. I am, and I think the rest of the state of Ohio is. So, you know what? Let's dance. Like Rodney Dangerfield said in Caddyshack. So let's dance! Yeah, let's dance. What the hell? It's first time we've ever beaten Clemson. That brought to a conclusion our winning streak, or I should say our unbeaten streak. Our unbeaten streak at 8 games. We had 8 straight days, either concluding the day as a winner or a tie. Well, yesterday was 0 for 2, and I'll take it all day long because we had Clemson. They lost outright. It was glorious. It was glorious. I've got my cigar here. It's probably going to be a marathon of a show here. So you might as well, if you got one, I'd light it up, relax, get yourself, press pause, go pour yourself some bourbon, straight or on the rocks, up to you, and, settle down here. I'm going to take some partial credit for breaking what I term the Woody Hayes curse. What was that? Friday afternoon. My father stopped by. He brought me a bunch of pork and sauerkraut that he'd gotten his hands on at a church down in Birdsboro. Now you might be saying, well, it doesn't sound very good. It's okay. It's okay. I'll tell you it's okay. But we Pennsylvania Dutch, we believe you eat that on New Year's Day. That brings you good luck. And I did not go out and solicit or seek this pork and sauerkraut. It was just brought to me. And it was brought to me from a church, no less. So I interpreted that as a sign from God saying, hey, here, I made this pork and sauerkraut. This is going to give you good luck. So eat it. So I did. I ate it all, just like a big boy. Ate the applesauce too. Ate it all. And wouldn't you know, Ohio State comes through a smashing winner, 49-28. I'm claiming partial credit. Why not? If it was only that easy. I think Justin Fields might have had something to do with it too, He may have had something to do with it too. How about that guy? That guy has broken ribs. I'm almost sure of that. When you win, you can be, you can be whatever you want to be. You won, That was that hit in the middle of his back. 10 years ago, that's legal. Now they throw you out of the game for it. So he persevered. I don't know how he's going to play against Alabama. I would probably think not well. Once that has time to cool down and seize up, I'm sure we have access to the best drugs in football, but, still, broken is broken. So, well, that's for another time. We got 9 days to think about Alabama. So, I'm just happy, it gives me something to do next Monday. Honestly, Clemson was kind of the stone in our shoe, That was a team we couldn't beat. It was annoying. You only get to play them once in a blue moon, and then you always lose to them. You don't want somebody out there that's always got that over you. You can't beat us. I remember I moved to Florida. This is 30 years ago. And for a brief time, I lived in Tallahassee. And I was surprised. Anyone would be surprised how many people, the first thing, as I'm meeting and greeting people and saying, I went to Ohio State for college. Oh, yeah, we beat you 18 times back in the 70s. Apparently Florida State beat Woody Hayes, a couple different times back in the 70s and 80s, I guess, or at least the 70s. It's like, okay. Yeah. I'm like, so I think I was one of those teams that has it over us, but we never play Florida State anymore. If we played them now, we'd probably beat them, but back then we couldn't. Anyway, there's another video up at the Politics Barn on Rumble. Remember how you got to get there. You go to Rumble, and then you search under Politics Barn, all one word, under Channels. The drop-down menu must be set to Channels, and that brings up the videos in the Politics Barn. If you want to hear me ruminate about Ben Sasse, senator from Nebraska, and the Electoral College Challenge, which I guess is going to take place next, Tuesday? No, Wednesday. Can't talk about it here. We'll get kicked off. So, let's see. What happened? This is New Year's Eve. Big fight in that game at the end. Interesting. Who knew that Mississippi State and Tulsa had any kind of heat there? Close game. I think from what I saw, Mississippi State was the best, even though it was by one, covered by half a point. But that's a W. Army, they were there all game. I thought, man, if they get the W here and win outright, that would be something. But they did enough to cover. That was our top play on New Year's Eve. Then the basketball games. From what I saw there, Minnesota looked like they were playing pretty well. They just could not throw the ball in the ocean. They just missed shots they were making at home. They were missing on the road. I guess that's just how that goes. Somebody expressed concern I'm going to burn the barn down with my cigars. This is a good cigar. This is not something dried up that I dug out of the bottom of my computer bag. This is a well cared for good cigar. So I'm hoping that A, it doesn't go out, B, doesn't burn the barn down, and C, gives me enjoyment, which it is. Utah, from what little I saw of this game, they looked like they were hanging right there with UCLA the whole game. I don't know what happened there with USC. I don't know if I'm sick or what, or I'm just old, but I am so tired lately. I just fall asleep in the middle of the day. First time ever I went to bed before midnight. It was just kind of like, all right, well, the calendar will change tomorrow. It'll be a new year. Nothing that exciting that I haven't seen before is going to happen at midnight. I'm going to bed. So I went to bed before midnight. That game wasn't even over. When I woke up, it was a loser. So that was the conclusion there. And then, of course, these games, ESPN called this a bad beat in that Notre Dame scored late to cover that spread. I don't know. It wasn't like they scored on the last play of the game on a 50-yard Hail Mary. I mean, it was simply Alabama was goofing around and they just did not score in the fourth quarter. And Notre Dame just kept handing the ball back to Notre Dame. So I don't think it was a bad beat. Notre Dame covered. They earned it. And then Ohio State, I mean, wow. That was a solid win. A solid win. Probably our defense won the game, I'm thinking. Lawrence really hurt us running the ball last year. He hurt us bad with his scrambling. And he just didn't get out of the pocket this year. We just were able to keep him hemmed in where he didn't bust loose, and there he goes. There he goes streaking down the sideline for 50 yards. That didn't happen. So we did a good job controlling their running game. not letting them just gash us. We were able to gash them. Who is this guy, Trey Sermon? I mean, Jesus, look at this goddamn guy. Where did he come from? They said he's a transfer from Ohio. I mean, the Ohio University. What? I mean, I don't know, but that dude was, jeez. I mean, I'm kind of looking forward to him running against Alabama. I want to see what happens. I want to see if he can get some work done on Alabama, or he's just a kind of a flash in the pan. I mean, he's a big flash in the pan, but we'll see. But that's not what you're here to see. You want to know about the NFL. I don't know. I had trouble with these games. That's part of why this video is so late. I just stared at them and stared at them and stared at them, and, nothing really became clear. So I don't have a lot of confidence in these picks. So fade or tail accordingly. We got the Cowboys and Giants at 1 o'clock. Winner wins the right to watch the late game and determine if they get to go to the playoffs or not. All this, I think it's nonsense, this talk amongst the NFC East teams. Well, do we really want to go to the playoffs? Of course you do. Of course you do. You always want to go to the playoffs. I mean, nothing advances your team faster and further than gaining playoff experience. It's worth that 3 spots in the draft next year. I mean, you want your team to learn to win. And it's so hard to do. I mean, winning in the NFL is not easy. So if you got an opportunity to win the division with a sub-500 record, if you got an opportunity to win the division, period, you take it. So anyway, what does that have to do with the Cowboys and Giants? Nothing really, other than both teams want to win, I would think. I don't know. The Cowboys I saw play the Eagles last week looked like a pretty good team. They played pretty good defense. They weren't letting the Eagles, for the most part, do much of anything on offense. They were able to exploit a soft Eagles secondary. The Giants, they've just had a lot of instability right now at quarterback. Daniel Jones is hurt. Daniel Jones is not hurt. Daniel Jones is going to play. He's not going to play. At this stage in his career, I don't think this is a kid that you can bump in and out of the lineup and expect to get any kind of good play out of him. He needs to play. He needs reps. He needs rhythm. He needs to learn. He's, still young, and he's, learning the hard way behind a not very good offense. So him being in and out of the lineup, I think that's leading to bad offense. I'm pretty sure he's playing tomorrow, but I think Andy Dalton has settled in. You're getting the best of Andy right now, whatever that means. I think the best of Andy is better than Daniel Jones. That's pretty much where we're coming down with this. We're going to take the Cowboys. This I don't like at all, but this is where my little system came down with. I, drew my grid, got Jets here, Pats here, wrote down the pluses and minuses for each team, and the Jets had more, if you can believe that. Patriots just looked like a bad team. And Cam Newton looks like a terrible quarterback. I kind of think Belichick is almost dumping this game, or dumping these games, period. When you think about it, it's like you're in a scenario without reference. In other words, Belichick very, very rarely, if ever, is in a situation where he's eliminated from the playoffs. So what does he do? Does he burn his team to the ground to get meaningless wins just to teach them to win? Or is he setting up for the draft picks? I kind of think he's setting up for the draft picks. why on earth would he be playing Newton tomorrow? Newton's bad. And I cannot imagine he's better than Stidham. That's how bad Newton has been. And he's playing him anyway. That just kind of leads me to believe he's stutter. Have you seen the Patriots injury list? I mean, this is classic Belichick. I mean, it's like, all right, you're cheating. That's cheating. You can't list your whole roster as questionable. That's cheating. You can't do that. But that's what he's done. So I think he's doing that largely because he might just go ahead and he doesn't want the Jets to know he's sitting people, but he's going to sit people. That guy he's been banged up, so he didn't really play full bore at the Wednesday practice. He's questionable. Oh, there's a ball boy over there. He showed up late to work. He's questionable. It's the whole roster's questionable. So I kind of take that as, guys are going to sit. More or less, this just boils down to Darnold is playing better than Newton right now. That's where I'm at with this. Plus, this is Gase's last game with the Jets. And I think that is going to be a plus. In other words, I bet there are people on the Jets that like Gase. So they feel bad. They feel like they've let this guy down. I bet Darnold's one of them. So they're going to want to go out and have a really good game. Now, there are other guys, people on the Jets probably hate Gase. So they're happy he's leaving. So they're going to go out and have a good game. So I kind of think you're going to get a win-one for Adam game here out of the Jets, and they're going to surprise the Patriots. The Jets have won their last 2 games in a row over some pretty tough opponents that are still not in the playoffs. So what's that tell you? The Jets are... this is not the same team that was taking the field 2 months ago. All right, Jets. Falcons, Bucks. My rationale, I don't know what here. I guess I basically just say, I got Tom Brady. He needs, this is a sort of a tune-up game for the playoffs. They played really, really well last Sunday. I kind of think he's in a groove. And if he's in a groove, they can put some points up fast. The Falcons, I've been waiting for this team to quit, and they haven't done it. They didn't quit last week, bastards. But I think a relentless Brady. There's no Julio Jones, so I think that's going to hurt, the Falcons if they try to get in a scoring war with the Bucks. No Julio Jones. I think the Bucks will outscore these guys. Maybe beat them, say, 38-31. That'll be enough to get the cover. This is the only game I really liked. This is the only game. I made this a 3-star game. I don't think I've had many of those all year long. The Bengals are getting 2 touchdowns at home against the Ravens. I mean, the Ravens haven't not been world beaters this year. They just haven't. Now, they played pretty well the last 2 games, and the Ravens have to have this game to get into the playoffs. But you can't say that the Bengals are just mailing it in. They've beaten the Steelers at home. They went down and beat the Texans. Those are their last 2 games. This is a live team right now. 2 touchdowns? The weather's going to be crummy. That should keep the score down. Maybe this is a 21-10 Raven win. Well, I'm okay with that. So we like the Bengals there, getting the 14. Oh, we went round and round about this one. Now here's an interesting thing that you will only hear in the barn. This is the game to determine who gets the regular season against the spread championship. Right now, I believe Dolphins, let me get that right. I think the Dolphins are in first place and the Bills are right behind them. So the winner of this game is going to, or the cover, whoever covers this game, we're talking about covering, not actual W's. Whoever covers this game is going to be the winner of the Against the Spread championship for this year. Nice little factoid for you there. Dolphins need this game to make the playoffs. There's still some ways they can make it, but generally speaking, they probably need this game. In other words, if the other ways to make it are have like the Ravens lose, they're giant favorites. To have the Titans lose, they're giant favorites. To have the Colts lose, they're giant favorites. So the Dolphins need this game. There's a lot of things that line up in the Dolphins' favor. Largely, they need this game, and the Bills don't. That's the really funny thing. The Bills are in. They're locked into that kind of 2 seed, and really have no reason to play at all. So why are we taking the Bills? There were just too many things that lined up on the Bills side of the ledger. The weather, it's going to be Buffalo weather in January. And Miami's a team that it actually affects. The Dolphins just don't play well outside up north in the cold. Never have. So there's that. Their quarterback, I don't think is a cold weather quarterback. Plus, he's not playing well. Tua had to be benched his last time out. He wasn't playing well. Now, you're saying, oh, well, they'll just do the same thing. No, they won't either. Fitzpatrick's out. He has the virus. He plays the game of his life, and now he has to sit, which is, it seems like that Fitzpatrick guy's got some kind of curse over him. But anyway, he has to sit there at home, watch a game. He can't even be there. So this is it. Tua has to go the route. He has to be good. I don't think he's going to be. He hasn't been that good lately. He's playing in unfamiliar conditions. It's not like Hawaii. It's not like Alabama. It's not like Miami. So, and the Bills are just better. They're just better, significantly better than the Dolphins. That Dolphins has to win thing, that's baked into the line. Look at that, -1.5. That number should be Bills -6 or 7 in a normal situation. So, I think McDermott, I got that right, I'm pretty sure. Sean McDermott, I think that's right. I think he's just going to do what he always does and just give you a normal set and a normal game plan. Josh Allen's going to play. Everybody's going to play. We're not going to lose this rhythm we have now that's making us so damn good. We're going to just take our chances. No one's going to get hurt. We're going to go do our thing, and the Bills are going to win. That's how we're playing that. Now let's check, see if video's still there. And it is. Seems like every time I cut, well, not every time. Recently we had one shut off on us. All right, where are we? Packers, Bears. I'm sure my wife will be thrilled about this because, she thinks every time I pick against the Bears, that means they're going to win. And lately, she's been right, which is annoying the hell out of me. But this just basically comes down to, well, I don't get that either. She bitches all the time about how bad her football team is. Oh, they'll never win. She really, could be an Eagles fan, because that's pretty much how we are, or a Jets fan for that matter. But when I do it, then, it's, oh, I get it. Only you can kick your team around. I can't kick your team around. I get it. Anyway, Aaron Rodgers, he just has a great record against the Bears. And I think this is his last great chance to make the Super Bowl. And I don't think he's going to jeopardize it by blowing the number 1 seed in a week off by losing to the Bears. I just don't think he's going to do that. He's just going to do what he does. He's going to go down there, and he's going to do his thing. That's what I'm thinking is going to happen there. So I'm taking, we're just taking the better team, and that's the Packers. And we're only laying 4 points. I mean, that's not that many. The Packers are significantly better than the Bears. So I feel okay about that one. This one I have no real gut. I have the Seahawks, and I really, I'm going to say the 49ers shot their load last week. That's the feel. In other words, they pulled a win out that no one thought they'd get. They beat the Cardinals, which really is hurting the Cardinals' chances to make the playoffs. Boom. Now, if you see smoke coming up from over there, let me know. These floors are pretty hard. I don't think they're going to catch. I'm almost certain they're not going to catch. But if you see smoke, let me know. Yeah, we're going to go ahead and just take Russell Wilson. You know, he's still in it for the number 1 seed, just in case something unusual happens there in Chicago. So they've got to play hard. I think they will. They're a premium coach, a premium team. The Niners are out of it. It's not. I don't love this game. Let's put it that way. And then lastly here, we have the Eagles. Al Michaels is, I wonder if he'll even do the game. You know, I've noticed that he's taken some games off this year, and I wonder if this would be one of them. You know, I mean, he's probably worked all week on his jokes if he's going to do the game, because here the NFL has set him up with a 8 o'clock game on the last game of the year and 2 sub-500 teams. So he's got to be just like, oh boy. But Washington, if they win this game, they're in. They're in. They win they win the division. The Eagles are out. The Eagles are out. Did not play well last week. Hurts had his first bad game. But, you know, I just can't pick Washington. I mean, they have instability at quarterback. It's unsure whether or not Alex Smith is going to play. The Eagles generally play good defense at home. And I think the Eagles could come up with a real barn burner of a defensive effort tomorrow night. Jim Schwartz is not coming back next year. They say he's, quote, taking a year off. Now, I don't know what that means. All I know is that we'll have a different D coordinator next year. You know, what if the guy does well? You know, taking a year off in the NFL to me means you're done. You're not coming back. And I think there's a lot of players that are going to want to play well for Schwartz. He's been there a long time. He's no Jim Johnson, that's for sure. But, you know, despite all Schwartz's shortcomings, he has a ring. So we did win a Super Bowl with this guy somehow. I think there's a lot of veterans on that D. All right, well, there's probably one guy, maybe two, that are still on that team that have a ring with Schwartz. And I think they're all going to, you know, get the younger guys up and say, look, let's win one for Jim here. Let's play well. And like I said, the Eagles play defense pretty well at home on that slow grass. So I think they're going to be a handful for whoever plays quarterback for the Washington whatever the hell. So we're going to go ahead and take those 4 points and say the Eagles are going to smash the dreams of the Washington football team and make somebody here very happy. That's how we're going to play that. So our top plays in Cincinnati, that's the Bengals. Then the rest is just kind of a mishmash of guesses, and I'm not sures. And we'll see how it all pans out here. We were pretty hot. Like I said, I'm not feeling the love in this last slate of NFL games. So I don't know how that's going to come out. But, you got Cowboys, Jets, Bucks. Bengals are the top play. Bills, Packers, Seahawks. And then late night, you got the Eagles. So that's what we got here for you at the end of the NFL season. We're cruising into college basketball. That's going to carry us for the next couple months. Good. I like college basketball. We appreciate anyone that's here watching. Thanks. We appreciate your loyalty, your eyeballs, your viewership. Hit the like button. That always makes me feel good and makes me a better handicapper. Subscribe if you want. We like that too. So thanks. Let's get some winners. Let's start the week off would it be end the week on a good high note or begin the week on a high note? I guess it's end the week. I guess some people start the week. Yeah, it doesn't matter. All right, thanks. From me to you, we're going to be out.